He's 1.96 meters of angles and anticipation, a centre-back who looks like a target man until the ball rolls and the geometry starts to make sense. Dean Huijsen did not arrive at Real Madrid as a headline manufactured by hype. He arrived as a solution shaped by miles of tape, a crash course in top-flight football, and a belief at Valdebebas that tomorrow's spine must be built today. In 2025, Madrid activated the release clause that pried him from the Premier League and tied him to a long contract. The fee announced intent, not a flyer, but a cornerstone investment. Trace the map back and the route isn't glamorous, just deliberate. Born in Amsterdam and raised ball-obsessed in Spain, Huijsen came through Malaga's academy and then Juventus, where defenders are taught to treat space like a bank account. There, foundational habits formed: get your body across the man, take your first step across danger, break a press with a pass instead of rebounding it. A taste of Serie A, a formative loan that hardened his timing. And then England, months in a league where mistakes have a siren and adaptation has a stopwatch. What Madrid saw in those months wasn't just size, it was sequence. Win the duel without fouling. Step in front rather than chase. Carry through the first line when midfield is caged. Release at the right tempo so defense becomes possession instead of clearance. That blend, proactive defending plus progressive passing, matched the club AS thesis. Modern centre-backs must be pressure valves as often as barricades. When his claws became reachable and competition warmed, Madrid moved early and loudly. Presentation day at Valdebebas told the rest. A number on the back, 5 seasons on paper, the shake that signals a plan, not a punt. There's a physical poetry to Huijsen's game once you know where to look. Tall defenders often win by height. He wins by timing. His stride is long, but his breaking distance is short, which lets him change direction without leaving his center of mass exposed. In aerials, he doesn't simply jump higher. He jumps earlier, meeting the ball where forwards want to arrive, not where they've already planted. And when he heads, it isn't a 50-50 into the grey, it's a guided knockdown toward a teammate, the quiet difference between a reset and a counter. With the ball, he favours the pass that breaks a line even if it travels 10 fewer meters. He'll shape his hips to sell the switch, then thread the vertical lane into a midfielder's feet. It's the kind of ball that makes a press wrong now, not 2 touches later. Because he can carry on his right and strike off his left in a pinch, pressing him is never a one-direction puzzle. That was the lesson of England. If the easy ball isn't progress, don't take it. If the risky ball is rehearsed, it isn't risky. Madrid didn't recruit a clearance machine, they recruited a possession initiator. Context at the Bernabéu matters. This is a club renewing lines while keeping standards immovable. Veterans still anchor the room, but the future is being layered in. 1 season, 1 signing, 1 solved problem at a time. Huijsen fits a pattern you can squint and see. Sign young coach details, demand availability, let the stage do the finishing school. Even his international arc echoes that philosophy. Eligible for the Netherlands but developed in Spain, he rose through youth levels with an accent in positional discipline and a comfort with the ball that belongs to the Spanish school. The badge may be new, the football language is old. A transfer isn't a coronation, it's a syllabus. Inside the dressing room, the message was simple. Learn the Madrid timing. When to hold the line at 48 meters, when to drop at 42, when to gamble by stepping into midfield because the far side fullback can cover, when to sit and make the opponent hate the clock, when to take the yellow that saves a point. At this level, maturity isn't how calm you look, it's how reliably you choose the team's best outcome. Early months offered proof of concept and reminders of reality. Knocks appear, rotations happen, international windows don't ask permission. A minor muscle twinge on duty nudged him to the treatment room for a short spell, annoying, not alarming, and served as an early lesson in managing churn at giant scale. Classico week explained his integration. Training patterns with the keeper ran on repeat. Receive on the right hip, invite pressure, pop the square ball, angle for the third man, because Barcelona's first press is a riddle you answer before it gets spoken. In the match, exchanges with the pivot grew more vertical as confidence steepened. Recovery runs found the right shoulder rather than the wrong one. Small choices that erase shots before they exist. On 80 minutes, when Madrid needed calm, he turned a hopeful clearance into a punched, measured pass that started the move, which bled the clock. Little things that age you in the eyes of teammates. Project the ceiling honestly. No one expects a 20-year-old to read every transition like a 650-game veteran, but the signals are loud, tackle wins without last-ditch slides, aerials that end in possession, progressive carry meters that turn half chances into platforms. Pair that with a temperament that stays level after the first mistake, and you have what Madrid wanted, a defender whose floor helps you win Saturdays and whose ceiling helps you win Mays. And then there's the stage. Not every player shrinks or swells under Bernabéu lights. Some clarify. Huijsen's presentation wasn't an audition speech, it was a declaration of fit. The club's publicity won't mind a good line, but coaches care more about Tuesdays. For him, belief looks like repetitions after the session. One touch into pressure, weak side diagonals into moving cones. The quick reset step after a failed interception, so the second action isn't late. This isn't mystique, it's craft. Every plan here is also a bet on composition. Picture him next to a veteran organizer, a flying fullback wide, a keeper happy to play past the first press, and a midfield that loves the ball as much as the space behind you. The picture sharpens. A line that can hold high without fearing the ball over the top, a rest defense that lives in the opponent's half without feeling exposed. Madrid didn't only buy a defender, they bought meters, the permission to play 10 higher because recovery speed, plus anticipation plus passing security equals territory. What can go wrong? The usual trio, rhythm, risks, roles. Rhythm dies if injuries stack. Diligence and cautious management keep it alive. Risks multiply if passing bravery becomes impatience. Discretion must match game state. Roles blur if rotations ask him to be 3 profiles at once. Versatility helps, but the sweet spot is clear. Proactive right-sided centre-back with license to step in and break the first line. The romance of comparisons, new Ramos, next Varane, will hover, because that's how Madrid folklore works. Let them hover, and let them dissipate. The truer sentence is shorter. Dean Huijsen looks like Real Madrid's next long-term centre-back. Not because of a single viral recovery tackle or a thunderous header, but because of repeatable choices between those moments. Choices that keep shape honest, possession purposeful, and seasons stable. By spring, the announcement felt like a headline. By autumn, like a habit. That's how the best signings age in Madrid. Less like news, more like infrastructure. If you watch him for fireworks, you'll miss the electricity. Listen instead for the small silences. The ball that doesn't bounce into danger. The press that never gets invited. The counter that dies at birth. Quiet beats are where titles begin. And that, ultimately, is why Madrid paid real money and real trust for a 20-year-old centre-back. Not for the clip, but for the calm that lets greatness happen on purpose.